Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. Hello, welcome to Hyphenate Halftime for Monday, August 12th. I am here with Mr. Aaron Farley. How are you doing today, Mr. Aaron Farley?
I'm doing well. I feel rested.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I've had COVID for the last 5 days.
I know, that's crazy.
Ugh.
How'd you get it? Just like you don't even know, or?
No, I know exactly how I got it. It was one of those dumb things. Like as soon as I started feeling sick, I was like, "Oh, that's how it happened." I had a friend come over. His band. We'd been talking for a while about recording here at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Me recording his band, and we'd had on and off the books for months. You know, like, "Oh, let's do it here. Let's do it then. Let's do it then." You know, we couldn't get our dates to work out, and then it worked. You know, last weekend, and as he's loading in, he's like, "Oh yeah, my wife has COVID, but I'm testing negative. I'm fine."
And you're like,
I'm like, that should have been like the red flag. You know, I'd been like, "Oh wait, what? Your wife has COVID? No, you can't come in here. Are we all gonna wear masks or something?"
Yeah.
But I think I just had been so far away from COVID town. We hadn't had it in at least a year here, and I don't know. I wasn't using my like pandemic brain. I was using like, come on, how bad could COVID be in 2024? And it was terrible.
Was it?
No fun.
Oh man.
But luckily, knock on wood, I'm the only one that's gotten it here. However, I've just been isolating myself.
I was gonna say, did you do all the protocol? Are you like living in the studio for?
Trying to
now, pretty much.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, no, I was posted up in the bedroom with the bathroom off of it.
Okay.
And then just try to stay away from everybody, and then wearing masks and things. But
yeah,
who knows? I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah, it was not fun. But it was even like he sent me the like COVID test the next day. So we did 2 days. We did Saturday, Sunday last week, and he sent me the test. He's like, "Yeah, I'm still negative." But then by that point, he was already like feeling a little sick. He was saying.
Oh no!
So we should have all just. And I made a joke. I was like, "Oh man, we're probably all gonna have COVID next week."
Yeah.
But at that point, it just sounded.
It's bad right now, right? Like everybody's kind of getting it.
I think it's going around. Obviously, yeah, it must be. Yeah, there's something. A bunch of people are having it. There was a kid at the summer camp where my kids were going. Unrelated to our case or to my case, they had it.
Positive.
Yeah, so I think it's just there's a big wave of it. I don't know. It doesn't feel as dramatic as it did back then, just socially, but man, physically, it's still just put me on my butt.
It's just killing you.
I don't feel as hazy brained, but a little bit hazy brained.
Yeah.
Like COVID fog.
We'll see how this recording feels like in a month when you listen to it. Was I talking? Speaking in sentences?
What did I say? I don't know how different that would be than any other halftime recording.
Yeah, you're like, no. Like the COVID positive shows, the same thing.
Yeah, that sounded the same. Anything is a little bit looser.
Yeah.
Man. Yes,
awesome.
summer winding down.
Yeah. Your kids go back to school this week?
In another week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one more week. So yeah, we're going up north. We're gonna take a little road trip just to kind of close out the summer.
Oh right.
So
that's awesome.
Which may get cut short if symptoms start showing up for the rest of the family. We'll see.
Right.
If we drive 5 hours up north and then realize everyone's sick and then just drive 5 hours back home. That might be the extent of our family road trip.
Yeah, you realize that always kind of happens. You're like waiting, everybody's totally fine, and then someone gets sick at least like within 1 to 2 days of getting ready to leave to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just to like, hey, we're just going to grandparents' house.
Still.
Like, oh, really? This is the time. You've been home for 3 weeks, and this is the time you're going to get sick.
Nothing.
Nice.
the one planned thing we had. Oh my God! But I remember when being a kid though, or when I was younger, being in my 20s, it definitely always felt like, I'm sick, whatever, who cares? Let's go. Didn't really ever well, you never took it seriously,
Yeah.
or never really kind of felt like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember the first tour that we did with our band before No Age. Uh, Dean was super super sick like the whole night before, and it was our first like West Coast tour. So I don't
Yeah.
know, we're probably 20 years old. Maybe had just turned 21 or something. But I remember literally going over to his house. I had like we played the night before at his house, which is this kind of weird squat on Melrose and Western. And
Yeah.
then I took the van home after the show, had all the gear in it. I was like, okay, I'm coming back at like whatever 9 a.m. I'll pick everybody up here, and then we're gonna drive to San Francisco, first out of town show, really first West Coast tour, first tour ever, first shows outside of L.A. And Dean was just deathly ill. He was just like throwing up out on the sidewalk.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
all right, get in the van, motherfucker. Let's go. And I always remember there's the one gas station right before you're going over the Grapevine. I don't
Yep.
know what's right. It's just it's like a McDonald's and like
I
a
know,
little
right?
gas station
Exactly
off
the
to the
one you're
right.
talking
Yep.
about. Yep.
Yep. And I remember we like literally opened the door of the van. We pull into it and this is, whatever, we've only been on the road for like half hour, but like he throws open the van door and just starts vomiting out of it. And then
Oh my God.
we're just like, just eject projectile vomit. And then we look
Oh,
up and there's this like family, like all in their car, just like, we just pulled in. I didn't, not
yeah.
knowing who was around us, and look up, and this family just looks horrified of this like guy just vomiting profusely out of the car.
You're telling me that being a touring musician is not the healthiest lifestyle?
You wouldn't believe it. At least at the between
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
feel like every time I've either been on tour or been on tour with another band, at least one person has gotten violently ill
Always.
and still play and no and we're like, well, we can't cancel the show, so you're still playing.
Yeah.
So let's figure that out. And most of the time, it's like someone sleeping all day, getting sick or whatever, and then the time comes up and you get up and you're like, yeah, that was the best show they ever played.
Yeah, the person doesn't remember it. I
Yeah.
remember we played, years later. We were in New York, and I remember, just having those like the sweats and like
Hmm.
the cold thing, you have with like a flu,
Yeah.
and like being in the van because we were playing like a basement in like Long Island City, and I remember just had this big parka on. And just was like freezing cold, and just sweating, sweating, sweating. I was just like in the van, just kind of hibernating like that. And then I was like, okay, it's time to play. And then just like going downstairs, still in the parka, still in just full on
Oh
fever
my god.
sweats, just putting the guitar on, and we just just played for I don't know like half hour.
Yeah.
And then when it was over, I just went right back into there and just kind of just like just chills and just shaking.
Yeah. I remember
Probably was
playing
a good show.
I remember playing a show at the Scene in Glendale, and it was the
Oh
same.
God.
It was like I just felt horrible, and I'd been sick. But it was I think we were probably playing with the Bronx. I don't know. I feel like we always
Yeah.
played with the Bronx and the Mean Reds at the
Yeah.
Scene. And
What was the scene? I don't remember the scene. What was that?
it's like a little bar. It's in
Oh, okay.
Glendale,
Is it
and
still there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
And I don't even really remember who booked it, but for a couple years there, they just had really great shows, and it was always free because it was a bar, or maybe I don't know, it was always free. Maybe they had a free night. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it's cool. You walked in, and it was kind of similar to Spaceland, where you had the bar on one side, so the bar was kind of on the right, and then you walked into just like a big empty room that was, I don't know, maybe you could fit 200 people in there. That'd be pretty sketchy. Maybe 200 people, but then they had a little stage in the back and stuff. And yeah, I
That's
feel like
cool.
we always ended up playing at the Scene.
That's funny. I don't know why. Yeah, never came across my radar.
Yeah.
But yeah, those 6 shows. I mean, I think that's what I was thinking too. Even now with like this, so I still have that mentality of like, fuck it, we're gonna go on a family vacation. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm not throwing up right now. Like everybody, let's get in the car. Let's go. And I realized like
I
the
lost you.
stakes and that have changed. The quality of time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope,
I was
you're
just
back.
saying, having that like tour mentality of just being like, fuck it, get in the van, let's go. Everybody, we're going to go do this thing. And it's like, no, now there's small children and my wife there. Nobody wants to just go and throw up at truck stops for 5 days.
Yeah.
It's not the ideal family
No, it's
vacation.
fine. I have a little cough. Like, no, you have 102 fever and you're sweating.
Yeah,
It's
it's like,
horrible.
no, it's
You look,
nothing. It's just a flesh wound. I'll be
yeah,
fine.
you have
It's
no
everything's
color
good.
in your skin. You look awful, and you're yelling it at everybody.
Yeah, like no. But I have to imagine that's probably how most of our family trips were too. I just never knew it as a kid.
Oh
It's
yeah.
always the way things are.
I mean, I think COVID's just changed it so much because it's so contagious, right?
Right.
It's not like if you have a cold or whatever, you go out with a cold because most of the time people can fight off a cold and not get it, just in general, unless you're right next to the person.
Yeah.
But with COVID, it really is, especially now that people are getting more used to it. And I mean, I've knock on wood, luckily, I've only had it once,
Yeah.
but so many people that I know, they're like, "Oh, I've had COVID like 4 times now." So your body, like, yeah, I'm just used to it. It's like a really bad. This is everybody kind of knows how it affects them now, and it's not as scary. Of like, am I going to be the guy that COVID eats my brain or whatever? It's like
Right. Yeah.
the really bad, the really bad part. Or I have family members who like lost their sense of smell for like 4 years, and it's not good for anything, not good for anyone.
Yeah.
But
I
now
feel like
that
that first
everybody,
round, the long term, like the long COVID fog.
yeah,
I think I probably had that.
was crazy. Yeah,
I remember
mine
when I
too.
first heard about that, I was just like, "Oh, the fog. That makes
Yeah,
total sense. Like that's a thing. Like, I
yeah.
can just blame all of my brain not working on that."
Yeah. I've had COVID fog for 20 years. It's crazy.
That's what it was.
That
That's not
explains.
pre-COVID.
I was the first one. I was the bat.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. No, I hope it will be all right. But yeah, I mean, you're starting the school, so
Oh yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
probably be exposed to all of the petri dish of everything.
I mean, that was the
It's not
first.
as bad as elementary school.
That was the first thing that I thought when I was started. We just started on Thursday, so we just had 2 days this week, and middle school, and I really was like, oh no, I'm in the same classroom as like 140 kids every single day now.
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. I would like get my vitamin regimen up because
I think
it's those kids
yeah,
are crazy.
you're going to be inoculated within the first 6 months,
Yeah,
especially starting in fall, going through winter, just the wave after wave of
yeah.
just whatever is going
Or maybe
around.
I'll maybe I'll just be so my vitals will get so strong that I just won't be able to catch anything. I'll be able to
That's
fight
yeah.
them all off.
That's where you get that veteran teacher
Either way.
mojo. The people who have been teaching for more than
Yeah,
five
totally.
years, 10 years. You're just like, oh, they're impervious. They're like a tank.
Yeah, they don't get sick. They're just they're perfect. They actually, especially a lot of the people that I've met. I mean, it's been funny. So yeah, I just started teaching middle school, so sixth, seventh, and eighth grade art, and never taught before, but I student taught last year. So the craziest thing is coming in, and but I've also been freelance, right, for 20
Yeah,
4 years. I mean, basically, I've had one
lived a
job
wild
since I
life.
lived in LA for like a year, right when I moved here. And other than that, it's been freelance, and I've had a couple little stints of short term work. But this is my first time of like being a part of a team, having meetings, uh, going to events, wearing T-shirts with logos on them, like those kind of things.
Yeah,
And really, at first, it's like judgmental to a certain
from
extent of
you,
like
like
I
you feel
was,
like you're
yeah. I mean,
okay. Okay, yeah.
my instant thing was to be judgmental of like, oh god, a group of people.
I don't
Okay,
want to be part of
what
this
color do
team.
we have to wear? Right, that was like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
first as kind of like freelance forever. But then once I showed up, and I think what's different is that they're all teachers, and it's just like there's a different mentality um, because of what the job is, and because of you know whatever you're getting ready to work with all these kids and all this stuff, and it's not like a big kind of corporate team building thing. It's like, yeah, it's team building, but everybody also starts on day one, and then you're just kind of on your own, right? Like you have your own classroom, and the thing that has surprised me the most about just even starting is how on your own you are, right? You go through all these team building, you meet everybody in the administration, and everybody's just kind of going crazy the first week because they got to get their classes, and you the copier is broken, and all of that normal stuff. But then really like day one starts, and I'm like, wow, I could come into my class, do all my stuff, and leave and barely see anybody, and that would be my choice, and it would be fine. You know, it's a very weird thing, but the all the like I went to the big rally for the school at the beginning, and it's like a gymnasium. All the teachers are in their own, or all the schools have their own spot, and everybody's doing cheers and all this stuff. And I really was like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel so uncomfortable. And then I sat there and I'm like, this is weird. I don't feel uncomfortable. I literally feel like I think I'm like in this situation. I feel like a different person. I'm kind of like watching from the inside somewhere, and
Well,
it was
that's
fun.
interesting.
Yeah. And I've
That
also met the interesting thing, the cool thing about being around teachers is that if you need to know somebody, or if you need to know something, you have a bunch of people who are ready to teach you. Right? Like I'm like
like,
I'm
how
like,
do you
oh
do
my God,
this? Okay,
I don't know how to
here's a
run a
step-by-step breakdown on how to do
exactly.
all of those things.
I'm like, I need to learn how to implement language learning into my art classes. And I'm talking to one of the English teachers. He's like, oh, you have a minute? Want some lunch? Here's like, come grab lunch in
Yeah.
my room. And then he set me up all these Google slides. He's like, well, you could do this on Monday, and maybe you set your whole week up here. Here, let me show you how to set up a whole week. And then you can do this.
Amazing.
And how about you have to remember to use this language and just pull it from the standards, here. So I always pull it, and like in 20 minutes, I got like a
A
whole,
full
what I would have
curriculum.
gotten like a semester's worth of like a class of how to set up a class.
Yeah,
He just quickly like set me up with a Google Slides presentation, shared it with me, and he's like, "Yeah, so just use this kind of template and and it was great." And I'm like,
that's amazing.
"Oh, right, because you guys are all teachers, yeah." And you're ready to, you're like, "Ooh, you want to learn something? Yeah, here, come in.
Cool.
I got 20 minutes." Yeah, so
That's
that
incredible.
all of that stuff has been really like eye opening. And then yeah, the first couple days, I don't know, the kids are still kind of in shock starting a new school. I have like a bunch of sixth graders who it's their first time at this school, and
And you can say it's my first time too.
yeah, right. But you don't really want to say that. You
Yeah,
say like, "I'm new here, but I've taught before." Like,
yeah,
trust
yeah.
me, guys.
Oh,
Trust
yeah.
me. You don't want. You're not with some kind of novice. I'm a
No, I think I'm just
professional.
thinking of the robot Rex on Star Tours. Like, is it anybody's first time on Star Tours? Great, it's my first time too.
Oh,
Let's go. Little robot kind of getting,
yeah. Well, that's what I
yeah.
feel. I do feel like the robot, letting
Whee!
people
Oh,
in.
I'm not
Like,
supposed to
hey
go that
guys,
way.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey guys, let me talk for an hour and figure out some stuff for you to do.
I'll get the hang of
But
this. That's
but
great.
yeah. But they're still. So I'm waiting for that like 3 or 4 weeks from now, where kids start like getting their clicks and becoming cooler than they thought they were, and changing personalities and changing the
Oh my
clothes they
god.
wear and all that kind of stuff. But
Well, junior high. I mean, that's definitely got to be such a unique, weird chameleon kind of thing. Yeah, like I'm
yeah.
sure you're going to see some students become 17 different people over those years. You know what I mean? If you see them year after year after year, they're probably within every other month, they're probably wearing different clothes
Oh
with new
yeah.
friends or new thing. Or
I mean, that's what it was like. So luckily, I student taught in middle school, so not sixth grade, but seventh and eighth. So I at least am used to the personality,
a bunch of
kids'
like,
personalities.
what do you call it? Like sociopaths, or what is the thing where you change your multiple personality
Yeah,
disorder kind
multiple
of thing? Like,
personalities.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, so far it's been like I mean, I think that the biggest thing when I first started last year and just jumped into student teaching was like how old, like originally when I jumped in, it was like, oh, these kids look much older than I thought they would. And like
Mm.
even act kind of older, like act tough and have like these personalities that I wasn't necessarily ready for, the like the back and forth of like, or some like having in like an eighth grader yell at you, tell you to not talk to them or stop talking, like all of
Yeah.
those things. I was like, oh wait, you guys are old. And then realizing, then actually getting in conversations and go, oh right, you're 12. You, to me, you look like you're 16, but you're like a 12-year old. You're like a little emotional
Yeah.
12-year old. And so that's what's, so this time I thought that was going to happen again. And then when all the kids came in, I was like, oh no, you look like 12-year-olds to me. So I think I got over that, like, oh my God, they look so old. You know, a couple of the kids are taller than me.
Yeah.
So it's not like
They have fuller beards than you.
we had some
Yeah.
kids last year that had full facial hair beards in 8th grade, which was
Oh
crazy.
my God.
But it is, so that is good. But last year we definitely had the kids that started out like super nerdy, and then halfway through got like, I don't know how to say it, like a visual personality. Like they started like they got their fashion, but also like super unique. Like one kid ended up, by the end of the year, he had gotten a full outfit that was only Mountain Dew Baja Blast merch. So he had
Sure.
like a Baja Blast sweatshirt, Baja Blast pants, Baja Blast hat, and then he had
Nice.
like
Glasses.
blue iridium glasses that, and so at least 3 days a week, and then a Baja Blast like a whatever cap, like a
Okay.
hat,
Yeah.
and at least 3 days a week he was Baja Blast. Oh, and that was his thing. And then he started like cutting the bills off of his cap, like baseball cap. So he'd wear a baseball cap with no bill, and then that was
Nice.
his thing. And then he started dressing in all black and
Oh,
had like the full Neo like
the little
glasses.
glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little black glasses. And then by the end of the year, he had like all these friends, and he was like kind of goofy,
What a
cool
journey.
guy. But
Wow.
yeah, but at the beginning of the year, he like wouldn't talk to anybody or anything. So it was funny
Wow.
that yeah, I'm kind of waiting for that, but that also brings like problems when all of a sudden some kid comes in and he's like, "I'm cool now, man.
Oh no.
Trust me, trust me. I know what I'm doing." But yeah, it's
Well,
been fun.
I'm sure that's a big part of just that age group too, of junior high, middle school kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, I know everything, teacher. You don't have to tell
Yeah,
me anything. Like I
trust
got this.
me.
Let me tell you something. Yeah,
Yeah,
trust me.
yeah.
That's wild.
You're an adult,
Um,
man.
you don't know as much as
Yeah,
I
you
do.
don't know
I'm
nothing.
12. I don't
Yeah,
know what's going on. What was going? Oh, it was a Pocket Full of Crumbs.
yeah.
Last week's interview. They were
That was
awesome, weren't
awesome.
they?
That
San
band is great.
Francisco. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't they sound really cool?
yeah. I mean, it really. I mean, I think it's great. You start listening, and you're like, oh yeah, I can hear a little like Dinosaur Jr. I can hear a little Pavement. I can hear a little like all of those references, but then like just super unique sounding songs. And then I like the thing that they had posted on Spotify. I think was from a couple years ago, and it seemed like just demos.
Oh
That was
yeah.
cool too. Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely feels like now there's a lot of obviously with like Bandcamp and Spotify and all these other things, but I think a band can really share all of their like their journey or that's their story. Where it used to be like, oh, well, I had the first 7-inch or whatever, you had the demo tape or
yeah.
something, you know what I mean, or nothing, and there was just other like B-sides or stuff never came out, you know.
Yeah, there's kind of no reason not to, because it's not like you're going to lose money by putting more stuff up.
Yeah, like like the demo version of every song or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Almost feels like cool. The more stuff you have, the better. Like just keep putting stuff out.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything
Right.
more if you've already got it recorded to just pop it up. It's not like you have to press up a bunch of records and then store the extras in your storage space for the rest of your life
Right.
that you
Yeah.
don't sell and whatever. It's like,
507 inches. Yeah, you
yeah.
just put it up on. It's a digital file, which you could use DistroKid.
Oh, yeah.
/VIP / I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
done that. I got to do a new ad for that. But if you go to DistroKid
Yeah.
/VIP / Hyphenate, I think you can get 20% off when you sign up if you put new music on there.
I was actually
Which
I was thinking about that of I found some old songs and I was going to put some
ooh,
stuff up.
we should do it.
Do you ever listen to
I should do
your
it too. I have a bunch of stuff on the
Do you ever listen
on the
to
hard
your
drive.
old stuff? Do you ever go through and go like, "Oh, I remember that song," and go through it and like try to find it and listen to it?
A little bit. I have an old digital 8-track that Dean and I did all of the songs that would go on, or a lot of the songs that would go towards Weirdo Rippers.
Mhm.
And then there's like even like demos or practices of us like writing a song. There's a song like Eraser that was like the single from Nouns.
Yeah.
We were writing it around that time, and so there's like the first like verse, and then just goes somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
there's no chorus or something, or it just doesn't like just changes into something else. It's like, well, that was really bad. We did not know how to end the song. Like we had a good beginning, but we did not know what the last part of it was. But I have like probably 3 hours of that
Oh,
on this
that's
digital 8
awesome.
track. But then I have like full songs or experiments or things. So yeah, I mean, I have hard drives and hard drives full of stuff. I mean, if I
Yeah.
really wanted to get wild with it, and then on top of that, then like the shoeboxes full of 4-track tapes. I still have to go through and try to find that Chokebore one.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
there's some. Maybe that's what I should do. I could have my own sort of DistroKid enabled like archive, like Randy's archive
That would be cool.
sort of thing,
I
with
like
just
that.
stuff I just pull out of there, like what comes up on the shoebox. I'm sure I got enough to like probably pull something up. Have something up, at least a new song up every month.
I mean, I
For a
do think
few
that that's
years.
kind of the cool thing about all of this, because once it's up on Spotify, it's not like you're getting charged to store it there, right?
I don't know. I don't
It's
think
not
so.
like,
I mean, this would be good to look at the DistroKid. I
oh,
know
we
we were
should.
talking to Dorian about it a little bit last week because
Yeah.
he put some songs up using DistroKid.
Yeah.
I think he said there was something, if you pay a little bit extra when you first upload it, then it'll just stay up there in perpetuity.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't and then I don't know what you pay for it every month with DistroKid. But maybe it's just you just pay per upload. We could figure this one out.
All right. We should figure this out. Do you do
Yeah.
digital mastering? I mean, like, do you do your own mastering? Not for no age
Kind
stuff,
of.
but like for your
Kind
own
of.
project?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
You just
easy.
throw it through like a auto master kind of.
Yeah, it depends
situation,
what you have. Even I mean, I'm always learning more all the time. My buddy Scott Cornish came over and he's just showed me this little plugin called Maxim. It's just
Okay.
like just something you can just makes it louder without going
Yeah.
over.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you ever want, send me your tracks. I can always
Okay.
make them louder just to make sure save you whatever. Didn't Dorian say like if the DistroKid will have you master it,
Oh, right.
that it'll like charge you a couple dollars.
Yeah. Like they put it
But
through their little mastering thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can send me yours. I'll master
Okay.
it for you, and then yeah, that'd be fun. We should figure it out. That'd be really
Yeah,
it's
that'd
a
be
fun
awesome.
thing to do.
Because there
See if
are some
anybody
things, and I
finds it.
do. I think that I had, like, especially after Sabertooth Tiger was done, and then I recorded a couple things just on my own with my friend James, and then just for kind of fun, and then I have a bunch of just stuff that I did on whatever on the computer. And then, but every once in a while they pop up and I like to listen to them and I'm like, I don't know if I want to send these to anybody, but I'm like, oh, this was fun. This was like, and then I looked, I'm like, that was 15 years ago. Like, it's blowing my mind about like how long that stuff is around. But I'm like, what I would much rather, just for convenience, have it up on like Spotify or something, so I could just
Even if
click
it's
it,
just for
listen to it,
yourself.
and
Yeah,
not have to
exactly.
like try to pull a file from my documents folder on my phone or whatever.
Because most likely the hard drive you have it sitting on is going to disintegrate,
Oh,
and then
totally.
whatever the Spotify or
Yeah.
YouTube
This
servers
is-
will last longer than whatever
This
your
is
hard
my
drives
other
are.
conundrum right now, is I've got to figure out something to do with all of my old like 24. I'm on like hard drive, double backed up hard drive number 24 for
Ugh.
photo stuff. And actually some of it I have like triple backed up, but even the triple backed up, I'm like, it was like 10 years ago I triple backed that stuff up. So now that hard drive's getting old.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like one of my main expenses every month is just like cloud storage at this point too. Like between Dropbox, cloud storage, you need to get a cloud storage sponsor. We need to figure this out.
That would be good. You know, yeah, I've been so against the weird like the Google Drives and all of those weird like things, like, oh, put it on Dropbox and you download it
Yeah.
here, because I feel like I have like 16 email addresses for some reason. Like I don't,
Yeah.
but I only use 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just have all these email addresses, and so whenever inevitably someone sends me something, it's like, you must request permission.
Yeah.
And it goes in, and I'm like signed into some email address I've like thought of 12 years ago as
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, why am I I've been using that WeTransfer
Yeah.
just for everything, and it kind of sucks because it'll delete, or it'll like expire. The
Mhm.
link will expire. But I feel like if you're really sending something to somebody and they want it and they're expecting it,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool, you send me the thing, I'll download it, and then and
That's
then
easy.
you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
it's so much
And you don't
easier
have to.
rather than like me hosting it there indefinitely for months on time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot it. Can I do it again? Can I do it again? I was like, just like you don't need. I don't need to keep this up. I have it on my hard drive. I can always I can always re-upload it on a WeTransfer.
Yeah.
But just taking up space like that, I just feel like inevitably it always goes wrong, or it just sits there. And then now that's archived for some reason. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be easier if I just like text message you a thing. I don't need that to sit like everything I text message someone to sit on a server for years.
Yeah, I need to pull everything off.
uh,
I kept getting emails from Apple that my like your cloud is full from phone stuff because we
oh
have
god,
all of our phones on
yeah.
there. And then I'm like, well, what if I wanted to
What's
just
on
put
it?
these
Yeah,
on like all my old photos onto a hard drive? And I'm like,
free
oh
up all your
god,
cloud room.
yeah.
That just sounds like a whole Saturday afternoon.
But then if I wanted a old photo, I'd have to go onto my computer and I'd have to like type it in and find it. Then you just don't even have old photos because who's gonna look through
Yeah,
all
I
that
know that's
crap?
another sponsor we should get, like chat books or one of these
Oh
like
god.
those book things you can just print out. Because even just
Oh
having
yeah.
those, it's better than you go. Okay, well at least I could see it somewhere. It's on a shelf. If I really wanted to look at we do that for most of our vacations, or
Yeah.
we'll just do random. Shannon's really much better at it than I am. I don't
Yeah.
really do it, but just halfway through the year, just like, okay, I'm just going to go and put these 300 photos. I'm going to print them all out in a little book. It costs,
Yeah.
$30. But
And is it
at least you have them and you're looking at them. You can go, hey,
totally?
check these out. Look at those.
No,
Or you
that's
never look
smart.
at them.
Because even as a
But
photographer, I have a million photos, and I never look at any of them.
yeah,
Right? I'm never
exactly.
like going through my archive and like, okay, oh, maybe I should. Although now I have to. I should because all of that stuff was like 20 years, like all those bands and stuff. Everything's kind
Yeah.
of getting up to that 20-year point, and I get
Well,
asked
maybe.
for photos every once in a while. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh my god, where am I going to find that photo from? That Bronx photo from 2004 when they were
Uh,
at this club that I'm like,
well,
oh
that's the
geez,
thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Now it's just becoming more and more like now you have the cool vintage stash. You should do a book
yeah,
with JC with Hat and Beard.
yeah.
Is that much time passed? Could you
I
pull
mean,
off
I don't know.
the the Farley
There's
view?
definitely. I mean, all of us that were kind of shooting that weird little Silver Lake Echo Park early 2000s music scene
Yeah.
that we were all involved in locally. I mean, there were a lot of a lot of photographers that were shooting quite regularly
Oh,
at
so
that.
maybe you would do like a group
It would
book or
be
something,
cool.
or like a topic book of
It's a weird
around
time in
this time.
LA. It's a weird
Would
time in LA that really only a couple bands like you guys got big and a couple of those Silver Lake bands got big, but really like all of the New York bands were getting big at that time.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
everybody
god.
thought
Yeah.
like the scene was going to like really explode here, and it just kind of like got to a weird level and stayed there for a
Yeah.
little bit, and then dance me like then Steve Aoki was the one, and then everything went like all
EDM
the DJs,
changed. Yeah. What was the band
EDM and
War?
DJs and stuff.
Yeah. What's the band with the Shannon Sossaman's sister was in War?
Oh,
War
Warpaint.
War
Oh
Paint.
yeah,
Yeah.
those guys. Yep,
Probably
totally.
they're kind of from that scene too. It seems like, and
Yeah, totally.
some of that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
it would be
but I mean, they
like
got big, but they didn't
you and
get
like
like radio big. They didn't get like
right.
yeahs big, right?
Sure.
Or
Sure.
any of those. And I think everyone was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the next thing," and it kind of was this like bubbling scene with so many amazing, cool bands. I mean, I think you guys, you going back to the Pocket Full of Crumbs, like you talked about this right in LA, where at that time everyone's like, "Oh, LA sucks," and the secret of that like 2000 to like 2010 was that maybe even like 98, 99 to 2010 was that LA was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so cheap to live here compared to any other big city, and there were so like open warehouses. There like our friend Brian had a 6,000 square foot warehouse that he was paying like $2,000 a month for, I think, maybe 1,500. And I mean, we were all like, "Oh my god, how are you making $1,500 a month to pay for this?" But
blocks
and
of Tecates.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And nobody was doing like you could do whatever you wanted because it was downtown LA, it was downtown, so he could have these massive shows, and so there were so many shows, like, I mean, there were so many DIY spaces, there were so many spots that were opening up, there were so many bands, and again, it was cheap enough to live, like all those guys that lived in the death camp house, what, there were, at any point there were at least 12 people living in like a 3-bedroom, and those 12 people would cycle out, like probably 35 people lived there in like a 3-year turnaround,
Yeah.
and everybody was doing something, right? Everybody was either in a band, making t-shirts, making clothes, recording,
Zines.
shooting photos, making zines,
Yeah.
trying to write movies, acting. Like there was just all of this energy in the city at that time. And I mean, RJ did a great book, the
Oh, okay.
Death Camp book, a photo book of
We
that
should have
moment.
RJ on here. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, I saw RJ last year for the first time in a long time. And but yeah, again, he was shooting, Jeremy and Claire were shooting,
Yeah.
Brian Sheffield, Malia. Oh my god, I shouldn't have started naming people because I'm gonna forget some people.
Not gonna forget. So how could you forget
Yeah.
me?
Oh my god. I mean, Travis Keller, like Buddy Head, like he was shooting
Yeah.
amazing stuff kind of right at the beginning of that, with all the at the drive-in, and a lot of the kind of post Warp Tour craziness.
Oh wait, who's
Um,
on the cover of this Death Camp book? I just looked it up. Do you know this woman?
Is it Jen?
I don't know. I
I
guess
don't know.
I was definitely not part of this world. I mean, I think just through knowing Dean
Yeah.
a little bit. But let's see, who's this person? Do you see that? I mean,
I'm
this
trying to
is
look it up to see what the.
Oh, I'm sharing the screen. Do you not see it?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
No.
Oh no, I don't know who that is.
Huh.
But yeah, that's like,
yeah,
Dallas, and
that's a funny one. Yeah.
But that was just this like moment in time that was, like you were saying in the interview, that like there was, you kind of felt like LA was a little bit of a secret, because it had come out of the 80s and 90s as being like Sunset Strip. Like the LA is Sunset Strip, and then what everybody thinks of LA is like, oh, fake LA is really Orange County, right? Like everybody's fake, and they have like all this, they have plastic surgery and all this stuff, and you're like, well, you might be kind of thinking of Orange County a little bit. I mean, I guess the hills, like Hollywood Hills or something like that. But the truth of that moment, that LA was really this really free place, that you'd go to see bands, and bands were all over the place, right? Like
Well,
super
yeah.
experimental. I mean, the Mean Reds were crazy. Did you ever see them play?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We played with them a bunch.
You played with them a bunch. We played with them all the time too. They came in our radio show all the time, and those kids were like 18 maybe, from Arizona, and they had just come in, and
we
it was
played with
just
them
like,
in Arizona. I remember staying at their parents' house.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
before they moved to LA. But it
like
felt like, I thought they were going to be the
keyboard.
next like Radiohead band, or maybe not Radiohead, but something Blink-182 or something.
Yeah,
it seemed like they were so popular.
Yeah, and like
at the time,
keyboard dance, weird time signature, yelly, like Anthony used to cut himself with razor blades. It's just like that insane. And then we would play with them, and Chris is like a super anarchist, and all our songs were like overtly political, and we were all dressed in black, and we're like very traditional 3-piece loud band.
Little Fidel Castro hats on.
Yeah, totally. And then we play with the Bronx, and the Bronx were like way catchier, and they obviously are still playing and do really well. And but then Erebus, Nicks, and Sticks would play, right? Which is your wife's old band.
Yeah.
And they were the same. What, 3-piece?
3-piece, yep.
Keyboard, bass, drums,
guitar, and drums.
Keyboard, guitar, and drums.
I just saw Amanda. She was just in town. She said
really?
she said she likes the halftime shows better than the interview shows.
Oh yes.
So this was shout out
Thank you, Amanda.
to Amanda.
Yeah, but then but everybody kind of had a band and was trying to do weird stuff, and you'd play it like someone's art show that was in someone's living room or like in their
El
garage.
Corral.
Yeah, I mean, we went down to Mexico and played in like somebody's grandma's old house that burned down, and played in the grandma's old garage with like 3 bands from LA. Our friend Marco from here down in Mexicali, he set up. It was like this time of like, wow, I don't know. Yeah, there's just a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
And
no, but I think
so
that's
cool.
what was
like
really
cool time.
That LA sort of like time capsule of the early aughts. You know, you never know it. It always seems like, oh, well, the 80s was cooler, or this time was cooler, or the punk. You know, like you don't know it when you're going through it, but it was. I think looking back, there was that feeling of like there were a lot of young people, and it was affordable. It was affordable to live, especially once we started touring. Like we would go to New York or something. You'd go like, wait, how much are you guys paying? You're paying $1,000, you know, for this one bedroom. And like, we're paying like $500.
Yeah.
We're paying, you know what I mean? And it was just like, you're paying $3,000 for like this apartment. Like, it just seemed absurd, you know. But then LA got that way too. You know, it wasn't like eventually. It was, you know, there was a point in time where it was this kind of thing. Like you said, it was like Dean and I, we would always go on tour and always, you know, people talk shit, and it was just like, keep that in mind. Like, I don't want to blow up our spot. Like, no, LA sucks. You're right. Don't move here,
man. Boy, do I wish I could.
Portland. Wow, this Portland is a really cool place.
Yeah,
and you guys are all on like weird heroin and it's rainy all the time. Like, great, keep doing that. You guys have it all figured out here.
Yeah, and don't listen to anybody. The weather sucks in LA.
Yeah. No, I just remember that feeling too of just being able to like, you know, especially for me growing up here, I feel like I always had this feeling of like, you know, I would never get bored. There was always so much stuff to do, and still to this day, you know what I mean? There's like, I'm literally living in a neighborhood that I never knew existed.
Yeah.
You know, and I've grown up here I've spent, you know, 40 years of my life in Southern California, and I can still turn a corner and be like, I've never been on this street before.
Yeah.
You know, this just the crazy expanse of it all, and the amount of food and the culture, the art things and this things and that things. It just always felt like whoever you want to be or whoever you are or you think you are, LA has something for that identity, much like junior high. LA kind of is very accommodating for that people who never got out of that junior high mentality. You know, like you could be anything. You know, every day just put on a weird Mountain Dew hat and go be somewhere else. And go roller skating in Venice, or you go do, you know, whatever, crocheting in Altadena, ride horses, go snowboarding.
Well, and I feel like that LA in general obviously can be as judgmental as any other place, but it's the one place that I've been that's the most accepting of change. Right? Like you're used to the LA as a culture or whatever is used to things changing kind of in general, I think.
Right.
I mean, at least like whatever, the area of LA that we were in, like where the kind of more central to the city.
You mean the gentrified area? The areas that were gentrifying quickly?
Yeah,
because everybody was really cool with the change that was happening. Yeah, it seemed like it was a new restaurant, a new coffee shop opening all the time, and everybody just loved it. Everybody was so happy about it all the time.
I don't know what happened to the other people. You have a point. You have a good point, Randy.
No, it's you know, but it's that's it though, right? I mean, I just look back at it. I don't know if this feels a lot of like end of summer transition into, you know, when kids going back to school kind of feeling, but it's like, you know, I guess I talk to my kids and it's like, oh, but I didn't want to change schools or I wanted to go back here. It's like, even if you went to your same school, it's not going to be the same as it was last year.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that same teacher. Not all the kids that are still there. They're not everybody's, you really did ever have that time that was good.
Yeah.
You can never go back. And I've seen it over and over again. Like I'll drive by, you know, old neighborhoods and things that happened 20 years ago. And it's like, well, now it's a condo. But even if it wasn't a condo, you know, or now it's a high-rise building. But even if it wasn't that, even if everything was exactly the same, you're different. You know, everything's different. The world's different. It's just a whole different place in time. Like where whoever you were and wherever you were at that time, whatever you was that made you happy, it only existed there. So now your goal is to like be the person you are now and find the place you are now and make that same, you know what I mean, carry on that same sort of energy.
Yeah.
and like just have just as much fun or whatever it is you're as was relative to your interests today that were, I think that's the other thing. When I think about romanticizing it all, it's like I knew nothing. It's in that same kind of like junior high way. Like I thought I knew everything, but looking back on it all, it's like I didn't know anything. And there was something fun and naive and innocent about that. But now, like looking back on it, it's like I know so much more. Like I know how to
Yeah.
actually be happy. I know who I am. I'm like not self conscious. I
Right.
don't give a shit about what the cool kids with the cool haircuts and the cool belts think. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I would never really want to go back.
No.
And it's kind of nostalgia is sort of fun, the way of looking at things, but also at the same time too, it's like I'm so glad I'm not 20 again.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I
You know,
think
like
you'd also go
it was,
back and realize it wasn't as fun as you remembered it being,
yeah, right.
right?
Yeah, it was a lot of
Like it
late
was fun.
drunken nights talking to strangers
Yeah.
out in front of a bar on a smoking patio or on like a house party on a porch
Yeah.
somewhere. Like, why am I talking to this asshole or this idiot? Or why am I the asshole? Why am I the asshole?
Why am
Why am
I?
I talking to people?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Why is
This is
this
a lot of
person I'm
time.
talking to such a jerk? Um, yeah, I think that it is interesting looking back at the way, because I think that, I mean, I think about it all the time. Like so much of my life was built around like, okay, being in a place so I can meet people, so I can like take more
Sure.
photos. And like
Networking.
so,
Yeah,
and
that was
then
a good
and like, oh, I
opportunity.
met this person that wants to have a meeting, that wants to do it, like that networking kind of like
Yeah.
constantly, and then realizing how many people I only knew who were like I would considered good friends, who we had only talked in bars ever.
Yes.
Like we'd never
Yeah.
seen each other during the day. Like people I'd known for like 10 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, I've never seen that person during the day ever. And we've had like so many conversations. We know everything about each other, and we've never seen each other before like 4 p.m.
Wow.
So weird. That's
Yeah.
like such a weird like
That's hilarious.
yeah. And a lot of people like, that I even ended up working with or whatever. It's like you'd eventually like, oh, you are an art director at a thing. We did a job together, but like the previous 5 years, we just hung out and watched music together at like 1 o'clock in the morning. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. I felt like it was fun kind of checking in with Pocket Full of Crumbs and
Yeah,
sort of seeing what their scene was like and what they were doing in San Francisco. It definitely feels like if somebody told me, that it's fun to live in San Francisco, it just feels like, I don't know. It just feels like it's such a different place.
it is. I
Do,
like San
yeah.
Francisco. Michelle lived there for a year and a half in like 2000, so I used to go up there all the time. But she lived
Okay.
in that same area that they were saying, the Upper Sunset or whatever, where it's cold. It
Okay.
would be 100 degrees here, and you'd go there, and it would be like 60 and foggy all day, and it would
This always
just be
sounds so romantic. That just
yeah,
sounds perfect, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. But I've also never really lived in a place where I could just walk around and do stuff. I've always
Oh,
like lived outside of the walking area.
yeah. Yeah, I guess San Francisco is really good for that. I remember definitely being in high school and even early college and like going up there and like taking the trolley or taking the
Yeah.
bus and like just kind of that sort of wandering around. And
Hmm.
it felt like the history was better preserved there than it was in Los Angeles, or at least at that time. It seemed like there was more stuff going on. Like they kind of, but I mean, I'm sure that's changed so much in the last 20 years. I'm sure
Oh
they've
yeah,
ripped so much stuff down.
I haven't been to the actual city in, yeah, I don't know, maybe 10 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've played shows and stuff, but it definitely, yeah. I don't know. It just felt different. I mean, everybody was just we had to switch vans. Like we rented a piece of shit van in L.A. and then had to switch in Oakland on this
Yeah.
last tour because we're coming over the grapevine. The brakes were just like stuttering
Yeah.
and everything. And so once we got the new van in Oakland, they're like, the lady was really nice. She's like, where are you going? And we're like, oh, we're playing a show tonight in the Mission. And then she was just like, oh, like don't stop at any red lights. Like make sure you have all your doors locked. And I was like, well,
Jesus.
this sounds like like Escape from New York or some 80s like sci-fi Armageddon movie.
She's like, well, you have to buy extra insurance for this vehicle then, sir.
Yeah,
It does,
yeah,
you can see here on the contract it says not allowed to drive through a mission without extra insurance.
yeah. That's really. They made it sound like you pull up at a stoplight and someone's going to break your window.
Yeah.
and just steal everything from the back of the car. And maybe that
I
happens.
guess it could
But
happen.
we were lucky enough that didn't happen to us. But as soon as we got to the club, they like shuttled us into this like private, little heavily
Yeah.
guarded and gated parking area
Yeah.
for band stuff. So I guess that's why we were safe, or
Crazy.
our stuff was kept safe. But
Well, I loved hearing them
yeah.
talk about like booking the smell and booking shows like No Ages
Mm.
uh uh shows in San Francisco, and how many like DIY kind of spaces were still around, and that whole scene is still like completely thriving. And
I know, it's incredible, right?
hearing their energy when talking about it was like, oh, this is good. I like this. Sounds fun. I like your
This is how it
guys'
should be.
energy. Sounds
Yeah.
great. I love that you're not worried about your taxes and
Your 401ks.
your 401ks and
Yeah.
how much your retirement percentage is going to be. Yeah.
No, I think
awesome.
it's definitely, I think, that was kind of just felt inspired again too, just to try, just keep it simple.
Totally.
You're putting on shows, you're having fun, you're doing something good, and the energy sort of comes back around.
Oh, and I like their idea of when they book shows, but it has to be a brand new band. Like you have to make a new
you have
band.
to start a band. Yeah.
Start a band shows. I think that's so amazing. I love that idea so much. When she said that, I was like, why didn't we think of that? That would have been so good. Of like,
remember we did that a bunch. I feel like there was the kind of in collaboration with like the ladies from Mika Miko.
yeah.
I feel like they would always start a band every other month. I remember there was one. It was like Boone's Farm from Analgene. It's such a good band name.
So good.
And then there were a couple of good ones, but I feel like they were always just so up for like, I don't know, let's just make another band.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, and then whatever happened to that band? Like, oh yeah, that was only one show.
Yeah.
One thing.
That's awesome.
It's such a Shannon and I still like the kids will say something dumb or we'll hear something and we'll both look at each other and go, that's a good band name. Like, are you going to go see them next weekend at the Smell? And it's always like I try to write them down when I can, but just like, or Shannon will just say like, oh, that's a good Smell band name. Band name. Oh no, I don't have anything good on here. But it's just when I got to make sure I write it down more because the kids will just say something or we'll just see something the most random. It was like, Tropical Depression. Like that's a good band name. That's a great Smell band name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see Tropical Depression.
Yeah, you can give a band the perfect list of band names to your kids for like their 14th birthday.
Oh yeah, wait, what was it? Weird Thumb Doghouse. That's a good one. That's on my list. Hard Grass.
Hard Grass.
I like that. Life Puncher. Or Puncher Holler for Life. Okay.
Puncher Holler for Life.
Yeah.
That actually sounds good. It doesn't even really mean anything.
No, it could be a good
Holler,
song name.
FL.
Yeah. I try to just keep, I don't know if you do this, but I've always kept just like now with the phones on the notepads, just always try to have a names of things list. Because, it always worked for like when No Age would do stuff too, like if Dean needed more names or if we were trying to figure something out. I'm like, okay, hold on. I have a long list of just random words that sound good together. But I swear, if you don't write it down, you will not remember it. And I always go, no, I'm gonna. This is so good. It's like a dream. It's like something that happens in a dream if you don't write it down, and you're like, there's no way I'll forget this. This was so important. This was so impactful. I'm always gonna remember this thing.
And you're like, what's for lunch? Oh, I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah. What do I got? Oh yeah. Wild Dolphins. Positive Sunburn.
Ooh,
Sand Time.
Sunburn.
That's good. Fluffy Weekend.
I'm gonna write down Positive Sunburn.
This could be good for all of our distro kid. If you need names for songs, so it can't just be Jam number 2. We could always call it Cara Delevingne's Colombian Diner.
I feel like you should copyright all these names and then you can sell them at a profit.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you get one
free
new
band name.
You get a free band name with everything.
I feel like that would be a good business.
I get tons of these.
You get like a good band name, but then you get like if they use the band name that you have copywritten, and you get a point. You get a point on all. You get a point.
No, I would do it just as a straight. I would do it as a straight. Yeah, you get one whatever $5 you get a band name,
or you have to subscribe to your service for the full amount of time that the band is in existence. And if you stop your subscription, you got to give the band name back.
Oh, can I return this band name? You have to exchange it. Like, I don't want to be Wild Dolphin anymore. Can I be Christ Puncher Holler Friend?
What if someone, yeah, they want to sell it back? They're
Yeah,
like, this one didn't work. It wasn't what we thought it was going to be. You
yeah.
oversold this one. You have to, like,
It
no
was
returns.
overvalued.
You have like a no returns policy on band
Yeah,
names.
nope. That's a great
But
name. Like,
but would you have
you know,
like a 30-day trial period? You do a couple
just try it
shows.
on. Yeah, see
Yeah,
how it feels. If it's,
you have a couple shows. You're like, this just it looked weird. It
make a
looked
couple
weird. Okay,
stickers. Make a
okay. Well,
couple
I can't
sticker
give you
thing
your
and make
money
a
back,
T-shirt.
but you can
Yeah.
choose another band name for your next 2 shows.
Oh, I love it. It's hilarious. It'd be like, yeah, this would go back to like the NFT sort of world of something like, yeah, here, buy the band name. It's an NFT. Here's your, you're on chain as
Yeah.
the owner of this band name, and you can use it for whatever you want.
3
And
of your
then,
pennies will go into my wallet at the end of
yeah,
every month.
we have a contract. There's a digital contract here.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like, yeah, just I remember. I mean, I feel like it's not so far off, but there was people, and maybe there's still people to this day that were just kind of like brand or creative directors. These
Mhm.
kind of people. I remember we had a friend, Aaron, who lived in New York, and he would get called in on these like brand strategizing meetings and come up with and give things names. It
What?
was,
Really?
yeah.
He
Well,
was a
remember I was talking
professional
about.
namer?
Yeah, well, I think I was like
Ah.
one of the many gigs, but there was that shoe store Undefeated. Do
Yeah.
you remember them?
He
They were
did
kind of
that?
like a cool streetwear. That was his name.
No way.
But he would get, it was like as a consultant or branding consultant or something. He'd come in and like, let's present just like, like this is the name.
That reminds me of Elf when they bring in what's his name? What's the actor's name?
Mm.
Um who's in Game of
Yes,
Thrones?
yes.
I can't remember his.
Dinklage, Peter
Yeah,
Dinklage.
Peter
Yeah,
Dinklage. And they bring him in and he's like the genius who names what he names books, but then he just comes in with like the general outline idea and has the name. It was
yeah.
like the tomato. I don't remember what was the name. It was like the little tomato that could, or something like that, and just like puts it down and just like leans back,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and everyone
My
goes,
work
"Oh
here
my
is
god!"
done. $10
Yeah,
million dollars.
Andy. Who's the other person in there? Conan.
Andy Richter.
Andy Richter.
Yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
he's a genius. He's amazing. This guy, you'll never understand. Like, none of us will ever understand.
That's someone's job. That's someone's job out there.
Professional namer. Thanks, guys. I'm on my way to Hawaii.
I'm definitely down to become a professional band namer. If you need names of songs, names of records, I got a whole running list. We can do it.
All right, you got this.
All right, that's it. All right, well, I will see everybody this Thursday. Is Tim Biscup Day.
Ooh, I can't wait. I've been holding off on that one. I'm going to listen to that one on my way to school.
I sent it to you already, right? You have it?
Yep.
Awesome.
Downloaded everything. Ready to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Tim, I mean, the story's so vast and can go so many places. He was here in person, so it was nice to kind of get to catch up and everything. But I feel like we definitely touched a lot on the biographical stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's endless. There's just endless amount of energy and so many great ideas.
And it's always growing too. Like he was just in Japan with Brain
charcoal
Dead.
drawing show.
Yeah. Well, with that brand Brain Dead.
Oh, okay.
And he was doing a bunch of stuff with them, and I mean, he's just always. He's got face guts and.
Never not working.
Always moving. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Yeah. So that's on Thursday. And then we will see you the following Monday back here. Hope everybody has a good week.